Hello and welcome to episode 2 of the Catching the Facts podcast here on the Catching the Facts official podcast channel. I'm your host, Dan Sisk,
And I'm Schroeder.
and we are here to recap week 2 of the NCAA season and week 1 of the NFL season. Eric, this is the first time that we get to cover the NFL on our show. It's pretty exciting.
Yeah, I'm excited for it. This will be cool.
Yeah, it's gonna be cool. So guys, as we kind of hinted at the end of last week, the college games were pretty uneventful. As you know, Penn State and Ohio State are our two teams. Our two teams blew out our our unranked opponents. They honestly, I barely watched the Penn State game. I assume you barely watched the Ohio State game.
Yes. Yeah, I didn't really watch it.
Yeah, those games weren't really worth our time. So we're not going to be talking about our teams this week. And honestly, the college games weren't super interesting. There were a number of upsets actually. But the two that we wanted the two games that we wanted to talk about were Oklahoma, Michigan, and then Florida versus South Florida. So those will be the only two games for college this week that we discuss. But the NFL had some really interesting games, Eric. We're going to talk about Eagles Cowboys, then Colts Dolphins, then Steelers Jets, then Bills Ravens, and then Bears Vikings. So we got 5 pretty good games to talk about this week for the NFL. So yeah, we'll just get started with the two college games, then move on to the NFL games. Eric, does that sound good?
Yeah, sounds good to me. And then yeah, just starting out here, Michigan versus Oklahoma.
Yep.
Oklahoma just went in, upsets Michigan, so that it wasn't like a crazy upset. Like Oklahoma was ranked 18th and Michigan was
Yeah.
15th, but it's still an upset. So yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, no, this was a result that I honestly did not see coming. Um, Largely because I've kind of fallen off the Oklahoma bandwagon, Eric, in recent years. I mean, I think
Yeah.
Brent Venables has really not worked out. I understand that he was an incredible defensive coordinator under Dabo Swinney, but he just his transition to a head coach has really not brought Oklahoma back to where they were under the glory days of Bob Stoops and Lincoln Riley. So I had really kind of looked past this game. It hadn't really even been on my radar. So I was really surprised. This might be one of the best wins of Venables' career at Oklahoma.
Yeah, and I really didn't think Oklahoma would win this game either. After losing Curtis Rourke to the draft, now with
Yeah,
John Matter, it's this is a big win for them. And Bryce Underwood in his first kind of big game, he looked terrible.
he looked off.
He looked awful. 9 for 24, 142 yards, no touchdowns,
Yep.
and I mean, it was bad. And he's supposed to be the future. You're looking at him and it's like you don't know if he is the future. He looked absolutely horrible.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
and I know it's still early in the season, but this was a good test for Michigan. After not being that good last year. Maybe even with Sherrone Moore, and now they're getting all these suspensions too that just went into play. So they could easily lose a few more games here. But
They could.
And with Bryce Underwood, like, he's supposed to be the guy, and he really is the guy. I mean, even I thought he was gonna be good, but he looked horrible, this week, and
Yeah.
it's it was really bad.
Let's be fair. Let's be fair. I don't think anyone really thought JJ McCarthy would be that guy. I don't think
No, no,
anyone
no,
really
no.
thought that he would be that guy, and then he ended up being the guy. He wasn't like a Heisman contender, but he ended up being a really solid leader for that team.
He was
Maybe,
okay, yeah, he was okay.
yeah, he was all right. Maybe Bryce Underwood can get to that level. I'm not completely dismissing him, but yeah, that game. I mean, if you can't do it against Oklahoma, what's Ohio State and Penn State going to look like? You know, it's
Exactly right, yeah.
hard. It's a
Um,
hard sell to the Michigan fan base.
yeah, I mean, and they were even running plays, like, last week that worked against New Mexico, obviously, because it's New Mexico.
Yes.
But it's not. I mean, they were trying to do that same thing, like, they didn't change their game plan, it looked like, and it's not only you can't put this all on Bryce Underwood, it's also, Sherrone Moore's fault.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. The game
the
calling was
and,
was poor.
in Sherrone Moore, he's obviously no Jim Harbaugh, right? But
No.
not even close, you know, nobody would ever compare him. But if you're taking over a Michigan program who they're gonna expect to win a lot of games each year and you're gonna fall short, I think he's gonna be on his way out pretty soon.
Yeah, I would guess that this year won't be that moment, you know. I
No,
think I
no.
think I think next year, if he can't deliver next year, then he'd be out.
Yeah.
You know, I don't think he's out yet.
Nope.
But they looked poor.
Yeah.
Um, I'm looking at their schedule now, Eric. They play. I'll tell you the games they should watch out for. They should watch out for Wisconsin. They should watch out for USC. They should watch out for Michigan State. They don't look that bad this year. I think Jonathan Smith is really starting to get his feel at that program, and he's they're not going to be contending for the Big Ten, but they're a sneaky dark horse contender for the bottom of the playoff, and then obviously Ohio State, but. Yeah, I can see them losing 4 games this year, which is I don't think anyone really expected. Because we all thought that they were going to get better after Sharon Moore's kind of getting the lay of the land last year, but it's not looking like that might be the case if their offense was like that against Oklahoma, who's notorious for having a garbage defense. God knows what will happen when you play a somewhat decent defense.
Yeah, right, exactly, and these next 2 games, um, with Sharon Moore being suspended, they got Biff Poggi coming in, to serve as their interim head coach for the next 2, so
Yeah, I don't get too worked up about interim head coaches, to be honest with you. I mean, I don't know the details. Is Sharon Moore allowed to work with the team in practice? He's
I'm
just
I'm
not
not
allowed.
sure about that, I don't know
He's
all the
just
details,
he's
but
just not allowed to be on game day. Like that's what they did with Harbaugh. Like
right, yeah,
Harbaugh was allowed to coach practice. I Let's just say he's allowed to coach practice. Sharon Moore's going to give his interim head coach every single potential scenario and the playbook for what to do. I mean, that guy's not going to be a chicken with his head cut off. He'll go in prepped. Um, so I don't know. It's against Central Michigan and a Nebraska team that is decades away from its heyday, past its heyday. So they shouldn't be worried about those games. But once they start playing some bigger guns in the conference, like USC and Wisconsin, they should start getting a little worried.
yeah, and yeah, he's only suspended these next 2, so against Nebraska, so he'll be back against Wisconsin, but,
Yeah,
um,
yeah,
it's gonna be tough for them
yeah.
to get back into it, and with even, like, switching coaches like that, it's tough.
Yeah, but like 150 yards of rushing, and one of those was a 75-yard run. The touchdown run by Haynes. I mean, that's just inexcusable. The rushing was bad. Just everything that could have gone wrong did go wrong. It was a really really bad game for them, and they made Oklahoma look much better than they actually are.
Oh, yeah, 100%. You know, Oklahoma moves up to 13th. Um, Michigan is still ranked, which makes sense. I mean, they didn't it's not like they got blown out, but
It didn't
they
get
only scored in the 3rd quarter.
Yeah. Yeah. It was it
So,
was it was bad. So I don't know. I'm not a believer in Oklahoma. I'm really not. I need to see them beat another decent team before I jump on that bandwagon. I'm seeing on their
right,
schedule
yeah.
they've got Auburn, Texas, South Carolina, Ole Miss, Tennessee, Alabama, Missouri, and LSU. Oh my god, oh my god, oh my
Yeah,
god.
their schedule's stacked. It's ugly.
They aren't playing any now. Let's be fair, with the exception of Texas, they aren't playing any big guns in the conference. However,
No. Yeah,
they're
like
playing
Georgia, there's no Georgia.
There's no Georgia. There's no again the big guns in the SEC. There's no LS. There is LSU at the end of the season, but they're
Yeah.
playing basically the entire second tier of the SEC. That's
Right,
really
exactly.
hard.
Yeah.
So and a couple of those are road games. South Carolina on the road and Tennessee on the road are tough
That's
games.
gonna be tough. That's gonna be tough,
Um,
especially if the South Carolina's a night game.
yeah,
It's
that's
tough.
I gotta say I'm not a South Carolina fan, but a couple years ago when they had that night game against I think it might have been Georgia. That stadium is incredible. So
Yeah.
that's a tough environment. But yeah, Oklahoma, I'm not buying them yet because their schedule. I mean, I need to see them against Texas before I judge them. Um, But yeah, there's not much to say about them. I think we can both say we love seeing Michigan lose, right? I mean, we're not going
Oh,
to complain about
come on.
that. Those cheating frauds. Um, but yeah, we'll see where Oklahoma goes. I'll be curious to. They'll be one of the teams that I keep a side eye on for the next couple weeks.
Yep. Yeah, 100%.
Okay, that's all I have on that game. What about you?
That is all I got.
Okay, guys. So the next game we're going to talk about is South Florida versus Florida. Eric, what do you have on that one?
Yeah, so South Florida goes into the swamp and beats them, 18-16. Yeah, this was a bad loss, a really bad loss for Florida because DJ Lagway, he's good, but he's not that good.
He's
I
not.
mean,
He's Anthony Richardson reincarnate. No one wants to be Anthony Richardson reincarnate. No one wants to be him. No one wants to. I just
yeah,
that this program has been such an embarrassment ever since. But how Billy Napier has a job is absolutely beyond me. Did you know, Eric, that he has as many losses in the SEC as Steve Spurrier had when Steve Spurrier was the head coach of the Florida Gators, and Spurrier was there for like 12 years longer than Napier was.
yeah.
Or rather has been. I mean, this guy's an absolute disaster. I don't know how he has his job. Frankly, I think this is it for him. Not this game, but this season. If they finish with like a losing record, which based on what I saw against South Florida, they will. It's just gonna be brutal. And looking at their schedule, LSU, good. I don't even know if I need to bother watching it. Miami, Texas. Oh my God, they have LSU, Miami, Texas, three straight games. And then Texas A&M, and that's not horrible. But then, Georgia a couple weeks later, Ole Miss, Tennessee, Florida State. If Florida State ends up being as good as they appear to be, dude, that's a losing season. I mean that is this guy's gone. He's done. I
Yeah.
don't see a future for him. He insulted the Florida fan base. He was like, why are you guys criticizing? A reporter asked him, what is your response to your critiques? And he said, well, I'll worry about the Florida fans who are in their mother's basements tweeting about me. And it's like, well, how about you do that? Fix that, Billy, by winning some games. How about you
Y
win some games? And he doesn't win
yeah.
games. He doesn't do
We're
anything. He's useless.
exactly. Yeah, like, we're 4 years into the Billy Napier era. He has had 1 winning season. Now, he went 6-7 in 2022, 5-7 in 2023,
Yep.
8-5 2024, and now he just lost to South Florida. So and then he's got the gauntlet coming up. So,
His his best season is 5 losses. I mean, I don't know
y
what
like,
the
that's
I don't know
terrible.
what the
Yeah, that's
committee was
not good.
thinking. I don't know what the committee was thinking. Sorry to cut you off. I don't know what the committee was thinking,
Very good.
sticking them ranked at the beginning of the
Yeah, they
season.
were ranked
Eight and
what? They
five.
were ranked what? They were ranked, 13th coming into the season.
Ridiculous.
Now
Absolutely ridiculous.
it's not yes, South Florida won, but Florida really beat themselves too.
They did.
They had over 100 yards in penalties. They had 2 touchdowns wiped off the board in 1 drive, and then they had that snap that gifted USF that safety.
Yeah.
But like the offense punted almost every possession in the second half.
Yeah. You pointed out, I completely agree. The discipline. That's on
It
coaching. I
was
mean, they,
terrible.
they are
Yeah,
horribly
exactly.
disciplined. Horribly.
Horrible. And then not only that, um, Florida defensive tackle Brendan Bett, he spit on a USF player. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
um,
Sorry,
just to
I
wrap it
doubt
all up.
any South Florida fans are watching or rather listening to this. Apologies to the one or two of you who are upset we're not talking about you. With all due respect, this game's about Florida. I mean, this
And
was like,
they beat themselves.
yeah, this was a true embarrassment. And if he finishes with another losing record, dude, he's gone.
Yeah,
They love their football down there in Gainesville, Florida. They are the fan base and the administration of that college. They are not going to accept 3 out of 4 seasons having a losing record and your best season being an 8-5. Like that. That's not and that which means a 7-5 regular season, right? That's inexcusable. That's inexcusable for Florida.
exactly. Right. Yeah. 100%. And like The USF quarterback, Byron Brown, he didn't play terrible, but he didn't play, like, good enough to beat Florida, you know what I mean? He had 263 yards with 1 touchdown.
No. He's a
Um
decent dual threat. I gotta say,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
the more I watch the dual threat quarterback, Eric, the more I like it. Like I really feel the especially college football more so than the NFL, with the obvious exception of Lamar. College football has really gone in the direction of the dual threat, and
Yeah,
I think you can
yes.
really see the good that it does, because the way the college game is evolving with a lot of these track guys going into the game, I think a dual threat is extremely important. Um and again, USF utilized Byron Brown extremely well. Used his legs really well. He scrambled well. He had a very good game, even though again we're not talking about him right now. Right?
No, but the college game's definitely in a good spot, with where it is dual threat quarterback-wise. It's
Yeah,
exciting to watch, you
I
know?
agree.
You're seeing more of it, and a lot of guys are becoming dual threat, where normally, in the older age, like, even Arch Manning can run,
Yes.
and not that great, but he can run.
Yeah.
So, I like where the game's at right now, and that's just only gonna transfer into the NFL once these guys really start getting drafted, and we're seeing it a little bit, but
Yeah.
not as
I mean,
much.
so far, Lamar is really the only one that's succeeded. Let's be honest.
Right, yeah, there's a
Um,
lot of guys that have tried, like
yeah, like
Trey Lance,
Trey Lance didn't work out. Kyler Murray, I mean, I don't think he's a bust, like a traditional bust, but he's as
no,
close as you can get to like a full bust.
yeah,
Um, Anthony Richardson, we'll be talking about him
mhm,
in a couple minutes here. I have a
yeah.
lot to say about that. Um, I feel I'll be curious to see if the NFL can follow up on what college is doing, and if the Byron Browns of the world can make it onto an NFL roster, because I think 10 years ago they wouldn't. But now I think they have a legit chance, and that's fascinating to me.
Yeah, 100%, yeah.
That's really all I have to say. We laugh at Florida. We
Yeah.
we laugh at their embarrassment, and in a couple weeks they're gonna have three straight brutal losses against those three teams. I don't feel bad for the fans though; they're miserable. I don't like them at
Yeah.
all. That's all I have to say about that one. How about you?
Yeah, that's it for me.
Okay, guys, that's it for college this week. As we said, it wasn't a super exciting week. I know Arizona State got upset. That was a game we thought about doing, but there wasn't really a lot to say. Um, I do believe that this week was definitely about the NFL. NFL's back. We're not going to see our families for a couple more, a couple months now, Eric. We're going to be watching football every weekend, so our families are going to be wondering where we are. But I guess we'll start off with the Thursday night game, which is definitely a fascinating one to talk about. So, what do you have on Dallas versus Philly?
Yeah, this was a great game to kick off the year. Little rivalry, Dallas going into Philly. It's always a great game. Philly wins it 24-20 in their home
Yeah.
stadium, and it started out spicy. With the guy getting hurt in the kickoff, then Jalen Carter spits on Dak Prescott. What do you think about that?
He wasn't spitting on Jalen Carter. If you watch that replay,
No, I agree. I agree with that.
which they play, I got to tell you, NBC's desperate. They were playing those replays like it was the Zapruder film. I mean, it was embarrassing. I was like, guys, it is not that big a deal. Like, it was spit. It was wrong. Let's move on. Um, Dak wasn't spitting on Jalen Carter. I don't know why Jalen Carter thought he was. And then, yeah, just blatant. What was it, 8 seconds into the game?
It was really early.
It was like, oh my God. I got to
Yeah.
tell you, I'm a Georgia fan. A lot of those Georgia players are pretty undisciplined. How many car accidents have there been and speeding
Oh,
incidents have
yeah.
there been with that team? Um, Isaiah Wilson played 4 snaps in the NFL and is now out of the league. And he was a first round pick too. That's probably a candidate for the biggest bust ever, if you ask me. I mean, and obviously Jalen Carter had that incident which dropped him to the Eagles. If you recall, he was supposed to go possibly number one overall, but he had incidents that dropped him in the draft, and the Eagles got his hands on him. The Eagles got
Yep.
their hands on him. There's a lot of discipline issues there. Yeah, Dak was in the right. Every time they showed the replay, I just thought it was so freaking funny. The second it happens,
Yeah.
Jack just casually pans to the ref and just is like, "What the hell, guy? Call it,
You're
call the
right.
penalty."
Yeah,
um,
and that's the thing. Like they're always gonna see the second guy, you know? Even if I mean, I don't think he was, but okay, we'll say, yeah,
no,
maybe he was trying to spit on Jalen Carter. He wasn't, but
he
maybe
was.
he was. They would still penalize Jalen Carter for retaliating.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
but in
But those are
that I
my
mean,
thoughts on it. It was just whatever,
and the Eagles should have lost that game. You know that Jalen Carter is arguably their best player on defense, and that really hurt them moving forward. You know,
Did.
and but he gets fined. He got disqualified, and then he lost a game check and fined $57,000. So
That's fair. I don't think you need a game suspension. I think that's the right call. He got thrown out
yeah,
of
I agree. Yeah, it was just a heat of the moment thing.
yeah. Yeah, it wasn't a big deal, but I don't know about you, but I completely agree. Jalen Carter really hurt them, and if not for CD Lamb screwing the pooch, they would have lost that game.
Yeah, 100%. And it really hurt them in the run game aspect because Javonte Williams, he was running all over them. Yeah, he only had 54 yards, but he had 2 touchdowns. So,
Yeah. Yeah. Saquon was fine. I think he
so
had a
yeah, Saquon, he looks like his normal self.
yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
he was whatever.
Now, I
Yeah,
will say though,
go ahead.
um, in well, maybe what was it like the third quarter when that weather delay happened?
Yes, it was the middle of the third quarter.
Yeah, and when Javonte Williams fumbled, that really hurt the Eagles, I think, because they had so much momentum. Even though they won, they had so much momentum
Yeah.
after that, and it was just all shot down. You know, it's really hard to come back from a weather delay of like an hour.
Yeah.
Um,
It's hard to do that in any sport, man. I mean, baseball,
yeah,
the pitcher has to immediately go out. Doesn't matter if he's throwing lights out and he's only thrown 2 innings. Oh, if there's a weather delay of any substantial length, they're gone. I mean, weather delays are really, really hard to overcome, and Dallas just got the short end of that stick.
yeah, they got pretty lucky with that because I mean the Eagles had so much momentum, especially in their home stadium.
Hmm.
Um,
Great
and
environment.
they come out and just punt it. Right after the came back from the weather delay.
Yeah, yeah. It was just extremely. It was rough.
Yeah.
The weather delay, I was like, I just want to go to bed, and the game just kept going. I don't know. I mean, Miles Sanders, I gotta say, I thought Miles Sanders' career was over. Good for him. I'm happy for him. He
Yeah.
was never a favorite player of mine, but at Penn State. But I really thought his career was over, and he had a really solid run in the back half there. So I was happy for him. I agree with you. Dak, what'd you think of Dak? I thought he was passable.
Yeah, he was fine. I mean, you know, the Eagles defense isn't really what they used to be with all the losses they have.
No.
It's not the team from last year. It's a completely new defense. Their defense was good last year. I think they're just going to be okay this year. You're not going to see them holding top teams to, like
Yeah.
15 under 10 points like they were last year, but Dak played fine. I mean, he honestly did what he had to do. It was really just CeeDee Lamb at the very end.
Yeah. What, four
Um,
drops? You
four,
can't.
yeah, 4 drops and 4 drops that he really should have had. That last one, maybe Dak, overthrew him a
Overthrew
little
it a little
bit,
bit. Yeah.
but that one, that was like when he threw it downfield and it
Oh,
was like on like the
awesome.
15-yard line. It hit
Oh,
him right in the hands. Like you have
yeah.
to, if he's a top 5 receiver in the league, you have to catch that.
I agree. That third drop, Dak can't throw the ball better than that. I mean,
No,
that was a
no.
perfect throw. You have to make that catch, especially when you're getting paid as much as he is.
Yeah,
You
exactly.
know, Um, yeah, I agree with you. That was a mess. I will say it was pretty funny. George Pickens freaking out and getting some penalties by pushing guys. It was like, man, I hope you like him, Dallas. As a Steelers fan, watching him was pretty miserable. So watching him freak out like usual, I was like, I'm glad he's not on our team anymore.
Yeah, and he struggled, and the guy that was covering, I'm not sure who it was, but he was holding him a little bit, and Pickens was getting a little mad at him. He grabbed his ankle on that one uncatchable ball that he was complaining about.
Yeah,
But yeah, he complains. He's good. He just complains. He's a good wide receiver too. I think he'll fit in Dallas's scheme better than he did in Pittsburgh. but he didn't really prove anything to me just yet.
I will say, credit. We were making fun of Dallas last week when they traded Micah, but their pass rush wasn't bad. Jalen
No,
Hurts didn't have a
no.
touchdown. He didn't have a ton of passing yards. But you know he was able to run all over
Yes.
Dallas, and I think
Yeah.
that wouldn't have happened if Micah was on the team.
Yeah, look, yeah, and that's really what like, this Cowboy and if like, Micah Parsons, he's the one of the best defensive players in the league. If they keep him, I think they win this game. I mean, it's just plain and simple because they were great on the passing aspect of the game.
Yeah.
Jahan Dotson, he had 59 yards, and he had that 150-yard, like, touchdown catch.
Yeah, and
So
he's a very good receiver. He's probably yeah, I would say they're second best behind AJ Brown, even though Brown didn't have a good game.
yeah, and which Brown was he was strapped up, man. He got locked up.
One
He
target. Embarrassing.
one target the entire game. He caught it, but it was stupid.
Yeah.
Um,
Anyway, go on.
yeah, but Saquon played fine. He probably should have had 3 touchdowns that Jalen Hurts kind of stole from him, but we see that a lot, with
Yeah.
Jalen Hurts. He can just do it by himself. He doesn't need like, yeah, Saquon's good. He'll get you there, but he's probably not going to get a lot of touchdowns this year just because of Jalen Hurts and that. And if they get to the one, they're just going to do that tush push. So what do you think about the tush push play?
I think it's whatever. I mean, I think, my stance is if you can't stop it, then that's on you.
Right.
I don't get too worked up over the whole, um, why should we do it? It's like, well, you know, if it didn't work, then teams wouldn't do it.
Exactly. Yeah.
And just because Hertz has, the problem is that Hertz has the size.
Yeah. He can squat
You,
600 pounds.
yeah, he has the size to do it, and that's just that comes down to your quarterback. Kyler Murray can't do it.
No.
But it just I'm totally cool with it.
Yeah.
If people were really in up in arms about it, they would beef up their offensive lines, but they won't. So it's
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah,
whatever.
and, like, people were trying to like, the league even was trying to ban it. I think that's ridiculous, like, it wor like, that's like banning, like, I don't know, like a jet sweep or something just because it works. Like, you can't
Yeah,
just ban a play just because one team can run it and nobody can stop it. That's just great coaching and just
yeah,
good execution.
I agree with you completely. I agree with you completely. But Um, yeah, that's all I have to say. It was a good
Yeah.
game. I don't think it was the game of the week. Obviously, we'll get to that one in a
No.
bit. But it was a fun watch, and Dallas looked a little better than I thought they would. And
Mhm.
credit to them. I'll be curious to see how they progress this season.
Yeah, I think both these teams will be fine, especially Dallas, they'll be okay.
Yeah,
It's
Philly.
just
I gotta tell you, the NFC is so competitive, dude.
yeah.
I think the obvious weaknesses in the defense. Uh, the Lions didn't look very good this week, but I think that's an aberration, to be honest with you. I think the Lions will be all right.
Yeah.
The NFC is extremely competitive this year. Obviously, the Packers got considerably better, so we'll see what how Philly can adapt. But if I'm an Eagles fan, I'm a little nervous that team that just traded away a future Hall of Famer in his prime just lost to us by 4 points. I mean, that's tough.
Yeah.
So that's all I have on that game. What about you?
Yep, that is all.
Okay. I actually have a lot to say about this one. Indy versus Miami. Eric, what do you have on that?
Yeah, so, Indianapolis go at home, just destroys Miami 33-8 with their new quarterback, Daniel Jones from the Giants. Yeah, I mean, Daniel Jones looked good, dude, and he didn't look that good in New York, but I like to see him turn it around, I like Daniel Jones, I don't have an issue with him,
Yeah. And
I just like to see him succeed.
To rub salt in the wound, Tyreek Hill was accused of domestic violence by his estranged wife today. So just to rub some
Yeah,
salt in the wounds of the Dolphins
one of
fans.
his wives, yeah.
Yeah, one of his. Yeah, Dolphins fans have had a pretty miserable 48 hours.
Yeah,
It's been
yeah,
rough. Yeah, no, I completely agree with you. Daniel Jones. I have to say this, Eric, because it really gets on my nerves that a lot of people just look past it.
mhm,
Um, I'm of the opinion that a lot of these quarterbacks, I think we've learned in the last few years that the Sam Darnolds of the world and the Baker Mayfields of the world and the Geno Smiths of the world are good quarterbacks. They just need to be in the right organization with the right head coach.
Yeah.
Right? I think all three of those guys were in awful situations to start their careers. And then when an offensive minded head coach gets their hands on them, they turn it around. Like, I think we agree. Everyone thought Baker Mayfield was done.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, when he was in Carolina, yeah.
Yeah. But then who picked him up? The Rams. Sean McVay knows offense. So when
Mhm.
Sean McVay gets his hands on Baker Mayfield, you say to yourself, wait a second. Baker Mayfield might have something. And then he fixes Baker up. Baker goes to Tampa, and now he's gonna be Tampa's quarterback, barring injury for a couple more years. You
Yeah,
know,
100%.
Sam Darnold
Um,
was awful with the Jets and awful with the Panthers. And then Kevin O'Connell, a very good offensive mind, gets his hands on him. And with the Vikings, he turns his career around.
yeah.
You got to get these guys in the right situation. Daniel Jones, I think, is a good quarterback. And he was in an awful situation in New York with an awful head coach. I know Brian Dable won Coach of the Year. That team went like what 9-7. That is the most ridiculous Coach of the Year win in recent years. I don't take any stock in that. But then he goes to Indianapolis. Shane Steichen understands quarterbacks. He turned Jalen Hurts into the MVP candidate that he is. And what do you know? When Daniel Jones gets a decent head coach who knows offense, he gives you a game like you saw on Sunday. So all these people, I saw all these people, Eric, being like, "Oh my God, Daniel Jones! I can't believe he played well." And it's like, did you see what happened to Baker and Sam Darnold when they got to offensive-minded coaches? Like it's really not that abnormal. I thought it was a crazy reaction to just be shocked at a good performance. I really thought it was surprising, but that might just be me.
No, I mean, I agree with you, and, I like Daniel Jones, he's in a great situation now, and now he just gotta prove himself, which he honestly like, I know the Dolphins, they're not a great team, but,
No.
I mean, he wouldn't have done that last year.
No, 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 no. I gotta tell you, Miami, dude, they are a corpse. They are, I I was willing to give Tua a couple more chances over the last couple years. I thought that it really was just the injuries, but
Mhm.
I think that team, he's not gonna take the next, he's not gonna take the next step, and it is frustrating and disappointing because I truly believe that he is a gifted man. Um, but I think the injuries have a large portion, is a large reason behind his decline. He just, I was watching the game, dude, and those two interceptions were awful. I mean, they were just so bad, and it was honestly hard to watch. And I'm not even a Dolphins fan or a Tua fan. It really felt like Miami is just taking this man, and it's like what's that movie about the where they walk the corpse? They try to make the corpse pretend like it's a real guy. I'm blanking on the name, but it literally looked like the Dolphins were like walking this corpse out onto the field and asking him to play well. I mean, it's sad what's happened to him. It really is, man.
Yeah, and not only that, like, Tyreek Hill, he went from top 5 to maybe top 15. I
I
don't think he's that good anymore, and now with all these legal issues, even last year, a lot of legal issues with him,
with that arrest, yeah,
yeah, like him being pulled over and, yeah, without
and getting
arrest
pulled
and
over,
just, like,
yeah,
stuff like that. Last year and he doesn't even like playing in Miami, which I don't blame him,
yeah,
but he
no,
like, last season, he
yeah,
said, he's done, and that really hurt him and Tua's relationship. Tua said, it's still a work in progress with, getting a relationship and repairing the relationship, and if he doesn't wanna play, it's why do you expect Terry Hill to even wanna go out there and produce for your team? He's still obviously a talented athlete, and he's gonna play good, but if he doesn't like who's throwing the ball, what would make him even wanna try?
yeah. I mean, let's be clear. Tyreek Hill didn't miss any games last year through those legal issues because again,
He did not.
he didn't. But I mean, you could tell it killed the locker room.
Yeah.
And to what I would say, Tua, that's what the off season's for. The repairing relationships and
Yeah.
building relationships. What do you just sit in your house by yourself for 5 months? I mean, what do you do? Like,
Yeah.
you are supposed to spend time with these guys. I mean, Tom Brady got kicked out of a park during COVID when he wasn't supposed to be there for his team. He was there developing relationships with his receivers. He was breaking protocols. Like, Tua, you got to do the work, man. You got to do
Yeah.
the work. I think that's more on Tua, honestly, than Tyreek Hill. I don't know if that's a hot take, but I feel that if building and establishing relationships, that's on the leader, and that the leader is the quarterback. That's Tua's fault, 100%. I don't blame that on Tyreek Hill at all. I really don't.
No, yeah, I mean, Tua, he's just not that good. I mean,
Yeah.
obviously plagued by injuries, it sucks, but you have to move on at some point. And but if they move on, Zach Wilson's their backup, and I don't think he's very good either.
No.
So the Dolphins are in a rough situation, and I don't think it's talked about enough. They have all this talent with Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle, even Devon Achane.
Yeah.
But and they just don't produce. Yes, it's because of their quarterback play partly, but and I think Mike McDaniel, he's a good coach. He would be a
Yes.
good maybe OC somewhere.
He's an
I don't
excellent
think he's
OC.
that good of a head coach though.
I completely agree. I
Um,
completely agree.
I could definitely see him, possibly getting fired even this year. But he would be a great OC somewhere. He's a great football mind, like even like Kyle Shanahan.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's not that good of a head coach, and yeah, he's funny. He can make you laugh in a press conference,
Agreed.
but he's not scheming up a great
Yeah.
team.
Bro,
So
getting rid of Brian Flores continues to be the most mind-bogglingly stupid decision I've seen a front office make, and I think that's going to be a decision that haunts this organization for a couple more years, dude. Brian
yeah,
Flores took what were they? Weren't they like 1-7? Like they were bottom barrel, and he got that team to 500.
mhm,
Like that man was a really good coach for them. They fire him for pretty much no reason. And I completely agree. Mike McDaniel is another excellent offensive mind. He's not a coach. Um, yeah, the Dolphins plagued by, I think a lot of that is on front office, to be honest with you. I think their handling of Tua's injuries, their handling of Flores's tenure as the coach. I mean, I think a lot of this is on the front office. They just, they're a mess. They really are. They're a clown show. They're not like one of the dumpster fire teams of the league, but they're a mess.
yeah, and I mean, but you got to give credit to the Colts here. They did play a good game.
Yep.
Their defense looked really good, 3 sacks and then also 3 turnovers. Um, they did a really good job of like clogging up the middle of the field, and that forced Tua to throw the ball outside, and that's what you want to see. You want Tua to throw the ball because he's gonna throw it into trouble.
Yeah.
Um, it was ugly, and we also saw some rookie play from the Colts, Ulysses Bentley, and then also Tyler Warren. Which Tyler Warren played good, 7 receptions, 76 yards. He looked solid out there.
They're easing him in.
Yeah.
They'll give him more and more to do as the season progresses. I'm sure of it.
Yep. 100%, but that's a great first game for him.
Yeah, I agree. And
Like, we
also,
we we called it. We knew he was gonna be good in the NFL because he's so they can put him anywhere.
he's got the
But,
size. Yeah.
yeah, that's
Yeah,
really it.
and also that was the best game Jonathan Taylor's played in years, dude.
Oh, yeah.
He had such a good rookie season, and then he was forget not being on the map. He was 50 miles off the map. Like
Yeah.
he was completely irrelevant in the league, and he looked revitalized. He really looked. I think you could tell that he and Jones have a good rapport.
Mhm.
I think this you could tell that spring camp was really really effective for him. That training camp did a lot to build that relationship with Jones. And they looked like an accomplished veteran duo out on that field. They really did. That was the best I've seen Jonathan Taylor in a long time. Long
Yeah,
time.
he looked really good. Now, he had a good season last year, 1,000 yards, but um, he really wasn't the same, he played
No.
14 games, but, um, I think he's gonna be really good this season, and especially with this new look, Indianapolis offense.
Yeah. Yeah. I guess my last bit on this, I don't know if you have much more to say, but my last say on this is, guys, when you stick a quarterback onto a team with a guy who knows offense, they can turn their careers around. I'm not at all surprised that Daniel Jones turned his career around.
Yeah, he
At
just had
least
to be in the right situation.
obviously it's one game. I'm not gonna overhype it too much. I don't think the Colts are gonna be a Super Bowl contender. But I mean,
Yeah.
no, not against the Chiefs for sure. But they're not that bad. They're not bad. He's not a bad quarterback. He really isn't. He just had to get into a situation that wasn't fundamentally broken. Was he drafted too high? Absolutely. Was he paid too much? 100%. But he's not that bad. I would put him on the same level as Kirk Cousins when Kirk Cousins was in his prime. Like these guys aren't going to win you championships, but you can do infinitely, infinitely, infinitely worse, and you will win games with them.
Yeah.
So say what you will about Daniel Jones. Remember that game against the Vikings, speaking of Kirk Cousins, where he and Barkley, they beat that really solid Vikings team. I mean, he's played well in the postseason. I just I'm do not sleep on Daniel Jones, guys. He is not that bad. They're not going to win a championship, but I wouldn't be surprised if they make it to like the semifinal. I wouldn't be. They're not that bad. I don't know. I just get so worked up, dude, when I see these guys we be these ESPN analysts where they go on the air Monday morning and their eyes are like they look bug-eyed up there because they're like, I didn't know Daniel Jones could play well. It's like, did you watch him at Duke? I mean, he's not bad. Whatever. I'm getting
Right.
too worked up. I'm getting too worked up. I don't know. You're probably laughing at me on the other end, being like, "What's this psychopath doing, ranting about Daniel Jones?" And I wouldn't blame you for feeling that way.
But it's not crazy to say, I mean, he doesn't get enough respect, man.
No, he was in an. He. I don't think people realize what an awful situation the Giants are. I don't think a lot of people realize that Hard Knocks thing with not paying Barkley and what they said about him. I mean, that organization is just it's the dumpster fire of the league. I mean, it's a joke. And so the second he gets out, he's not that bad. What a
Right.
shocker. Whatever. That's all
Yeah.
I have to say. I don't know if you have more.
Yeah, that's all I got.
Okay. Let's talk about a game that I think people assumed would be good if they just saw the score, but when you actually watched it, it was whatever. And that's the Steelers versus the Jets. What do you have on them?
Yeah, so the Steelers beat the Jets 34-32, in New York. Um, you know, both these guys played for their separate teams. Justin Fields playing for the Steelers, Aaron Rodgers playing for the Jets.
Yep.
Um, they both looked good. I mean, they looked fine. Justin Fields, he has had a long career and
Yeah.
a lot of struggle. You know, was terrible, not really terrible, but once again in a terrible situation in Chicago.
Uh huh.
Comes to the Steelers.
It was
I
okay.
mean, didn't
He
really
was
get a
fine.
chance.
No, but he was
Sitting
he was
behind
whatever.
Russell Wilson,
Yeah, he was
and
fine.
then goes to the Jets, and he looked good. He looked good.
Yeah,
But with all these guys that the Steelers brought in, you know, their defense is supposed to be really good. Patrick Queen,
yeah,
Deshaun Elliott, Darius Slay, Watt, Hayward, even Jalen Ramsey.
yeah,
They let up 32 points.
yeah. Their defense was so bad. They let Brees Hall look like he was Barry Sanders. I mean, it was embarrassing. I mean, it was
Yeah.
it was it was it was bad, dude. Their defense was so bad. I was watching it and I was like, how is I was told this defense was elite. And it just looked so bad. It really did. I don't think either of us thought that Aaron Rodgers of all people would be bailing this team out in week 1 against the New York Jets.
No, not at all. And it was funny. I mean, he is so old. I didn't really have any really too much faith in him really. I know he's good, he's a great deep ball. But after they got rid of, George Pickens, I thought he would be a great setup with DK Metcalf as a wide receiver too. They don't really have a true wide receiver too.
Right.
Um, yes, Calvin Austin's good, but he's not. He's a good wide receiver three.
Yeah.
So I think it, I understand that George Pickens was a big locker room issue. But he's still talented. But that doesn't matter. He's not on the team anymore.
Yeah.
DK Metcalf, he looked fine.
Yeah.
No
Didn't impress me.
touchdowns yet. He'll get one next week, but
Moreland. Yeah, no, I agree with you. Their receiver room is a mess. I mean, Fryermuth, I mean, I know he's a fan favorite, but I think he's a fan favorite in the way Heath Miller was a fan favorite, and that yeah,
right.
they're beloved in the city, and you know they'll make a couple good plays, but they're not difference makers.
No,
Um,
it's yeah, right. It's not like Pat Fryer's gonna go out and get you. He's not gonna win the game for you.
he won't. He won't. He just and that's no disrespect to him. He just can't. He's not that good.
Yeah, right.
But their running backs looked really bad. They couldn't run the ball. I mean, it was a very poor game for their running backs. I would think that at the trade deadline you trade for an RB. Like I think you need one, dude. I don't think Jalen Warren's the solution.
Yeah, it's definitely interesting. I thought them getting Caleb Johnson would really help them in the run game aspect. They only let him carry the ball one time for -2 yards. You got to give him a shot. Then that's really kind of they don't really give these guys a shot.
That's very
To
fair.
really prove themselves. Because like Justin Fields, I think they should have put him in some RPO situations last season. They really didn't. He barely played, and he's a great athlete. So I
Yeah,
I don't I don't understand too much, what their decision is. Now, they did get Johnny Smith, reuniting with Arthur Smith. I think that's gonna be good. I like Johnny Smith. He's a
I
good
do as well.
he's a good player. I think he's gonna be a huge aspect in run blocking as well as, like, Darnell Washington and stuff like that, but,
Yeah,
um,
I agree.
no, but and then the Jets on the other side, yeah, Breece Hall ran all over them. It was terrible.
Yeah,
107 yards, 19 carries, no touchdowns, but he looked really good. He looked like his old self, plagued by injuries,
yeah.
a
He's a
few
feel
years
good
ago.
story. He's a feel good story, 100%.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And then, Garrett Wilson, he played good, and he's a good receiver, but he didn't really get a lot of respect. He obviously had a lot of respect coming out of Ohio State, but their situation, also the Jets in the quarterback room, they've been also pretty bad too.
Yeah,
So,
I was told when Aaron Rodgers got there that I was told that, it was all Zach Wilson's fault that Garrett Wilson wasn't a top 10 receiver in the league. And then Rodgers gets there and Garrett Wilson is still not a top 10 receiver in the league. And I don't think he's going to be a top 10 receiver in the league this season either with Fields. I mean, I think he's definitely a situation where he's not bad by any stretch of the imagination, but I think the Jets had expectations for him that he's not meeting. I don't think he's the next level, and I think they were expecting the next level, to be honest with you.
yeah, they definitely were, and, especially with that product of Ohio State, wide receivers. But,
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know about, like I think he's maybe top 10, but he's definitely not squeaking into the top 5.
No, definitely not. Definitely not.
Um,
As for the Jets as a whole, I mean, they looked better than I think a lot of people assumed.
yeah,
Obviously Brees Hall played very, very well. So next week against the Bills is going to be tough. But I got to tell you, against the Bucks, the Dolphins, the Cowboys, the Broncos, the Panthers, I think, and the Bengals, Browns, they could have a decent number of wins there, dude.
they
I
could
mean,
get on a hot win streak for sure. Those are
yeah,
all winnable games.
they are. I mean, I think the Dolphins are winnable. Obviously, I think the Cowboys are winnable because the Cowboys look good but not elite, right? I think the
Right.
Broncos look okay. The Panthers are going to get better this week. I don't know if I totally buy the Bryce Young rehabilitation. This week was not a good start to the season. We'll see what happens next week. But the Bengals, against that Bengals defense, Fields could have the game of his career there. I mean, the Jets aren't to be ignored. Do I think that they're going to contend? I would have to have brain damage to argue that, but I think that they could screw some teams up. They could. They
Yeah,
could.
because the Jets last year, they sucked. I mean, let's just put it like they were terrible.
No, the Jets of 2024 will probably have to go down as one of the biggest failures in sports history, right?
Yeah.
Like do all the moves they made, Devonte Adams. I mean that situation was just a disaster. I think you have to consider that one of the biggest failures. So I mean, it was only the only way to go was up.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, and,
That team.
even though they lost this game, they still competed, and I understand their defense let up 34 points. This was an offensive shootout, and the Jets' defense is good too, so it's a little bit alarming. Um, I think they'll be okay because their offense is good. I
Yeah,
mean, okay, 1 game, but their offense looked good this game. I think Justin Fields' the situation's much better for him. Um, and, I think they'll be fine.
sure.
They'll work out the defensive kinks. They were playing a decent offense.
Yeah,
And it's tough to stop Aaron Rodgers, especially when he played for your team last year.
yeah.
So,
My guess is they'll be like 7-10.
yeah,
8-9.
around there. They
That's
might they might squeak out 9 wins, but
maybe. I doubt it, but it's possible. As for the Steelers, next week is going to be, a little tricky. The Seahawks defense looked really good against the 49ers, even though they lost the game. So the Seahawks is not going to be an easy game. Obviously, it's in Pittsburgh, so that'll help. But next week is going to be a little tricky for them. I hope that they need to fix that defense, man, because
yeah.
I'm not confident that Rodgers is going to play as well next week against the Seahawks. So you got to make sure that the defense is going to be able to support 20 to 24 points.
Yep.
And I did not see that potential based on what I saw this week, but I'm open to having my mind changed on that.
Yeah, like, Rodgers is good, but, like, the Steelers, this would be a great team, like, 5 years ago. You know what I
I
mean?
agree. I really do. I agree with that.
With Aaron Rodgers, DK Metcalf, he's fine, I think he's a little bit overhyped. Um, he's good, but he's not elite. And then, Darius Slay, he's fine. And then Jalen Ramsey, he honestly wasn't even that good last season.
He wasn't.
To be completely honest with you, I didn't think he was that good. Um, their team is old. Their team's really old.
Yeah, that's the issue, isn't it? I mean, the Steelers are they're old. I mean, they
Yeah.
and it's crazy that they're so old because it's been, you know, a couple years since Ben left by now, and you'd think that they would
Right.
make the effort to get younger, but they really haven't. And
Well, they tried though with like Kenny Pickett and bringing him in. Now and how'd that work out? It was horrible. So,
sure, that's fair.
I think this experiment's good. Aaron Rodgers, he'll probably only play another year. He's probably done after this year.
I would
So,
guess. I would guess he's probably going to be done. I agree.
yeah,
We'll see how far they can go. I used to see another 9-8 season. To be totally honest with you, but um,
yeah,
I'm open to. I think honestly, I think next week is going to be a big test because the Seahawks are
yep,
not that bad. So
no,
if they can win that game and show a strong offensive performance next week, I think we can officially get like really excited about the offense. But until I see them against a team that's better than the Jets, I'm gonna be cautiously optimistic.
yeah, 100%.
Yeah, that's all I have on that one. What about you?
Yeah, that is it. Let's get to the pretty much game of the week. I think.
Yep, yep. What is it?
Yeah, so it's Baltimore and Buffalo. 40-41. Buffalo squeaks out in a crazy comeback win.
Yeah,
Josh Allen, man, I mean, people were
game of his
leaving the
life.
stadium with 5 minutes left in the game. It was 25-40. Josh
Yep.
Allen brings them all the way back. It was really impressive, and a lot of people, like, I understand, like, Josh Allen, he's an MVP,
Yeah.
but people don't know what he can do, man, and he proved himself. Not that he really had anything to prove, they know
Yeah.
he's elite, but he looked so good in that game, especially down the stretch against a tough Ravens defense.
Yeah, dude, that was the game of his life. That what I watched a man transcend humanity. I was my jaw was legitimately on the floor for the bulk of that game. I was in awe of what I was watching. He was it was probably one of the best quarterback performances I've ever seen, and I'm not exaggerating when I say that. I think that was the best game of his career. And I think it honestly cemented him officially number two in the league behind Mahomes. I don't think you can possibly argue any other quarterback above him other than Mahomes. He is ridiculous. He had 400 passing yards.
Yeah.
Oh my, I mean that's ridiculous. And then he ran for a couple more too. He's always been a good scrambler. He's just remarkably talented. If I'm a Bills fan, I am devastated that they haven't had as much playoff success as they probably should have up to
But
this
that's
point
just because of
because
Patrick Mahomes, they can't beat him.
yeah, that's the issue, man. They just can't beat Patrick Mahomes. Um he is a truly gifted quarterback. He's one of the best I've seen in a long time. And it shows you what a cool, development takes. We were just talking about development with Daniel Jones. Josh Allen went to Wyoming. Wyoming. Okay, you don't play good teams at Wyoming. He was a work in progress, but Buffalo gave him the time to develop properly, and look what he is. I mean, it's remarkable.
Yeah, it's really impressive, to see what he's become. You know, he had a he you know, Bills fans wanted, Josh Rosen as their quarterback. You know, they were so
I forgot
mad.
about that.
They were so mad when Josh Allen was drafted.
Yeah,
They said he's gonna suck, and he's just silencing all the Bills fans. Even the Bills fans that left the stadium, he pointed them out, you know, it was really funny. He was like, you know, all the Bills fans that left, whatever. He was saying
yeah,
something, but
yeah.
yeah, and they I even though they don't they're not all there with the receiver yet.
No,
Keon
they
Coleman
aren't.
and Khalil Shakir, they look good. You know, I like Keon Coleman a lot. I think he could be really good. Um,
But dude, did you see what Patrick Mahomes won with the Super one? Who we won the Super Bowl with a few years ago. I mean,
exactly. It does.
I mean,
Yeah,
the
exactly.
quarterback can make up for not elite receivers. The
Yeah,
quarterback makes up
100%.
what can.
And especially when you're as mobile and as big as Josh Allen. I mean, he's a carbon copy of Big Ben.
Yeah,
Um, you know, height and weight wise. So, um, you know, he can just bull and he seeks contact. Like he's not afraid of it. Not and that's a little scary, but it's kind of what you want to see.
yeah, yeah. He's ridiculous. He is a truly gifted quarterback. It's going to be a lot of fun watching him continue because he's still in his prime, man. He's got a couple more
Oh yeah.
years of this, and it's gonna be really really fun to watch. How old is he? 28, 29? I don't remember. But he's in his late 20s. I know that, and he's got so much more time under his belt. It's going to be special. I guess we should kind of move on to Baltimore.
Yeah. So yeah, both these teams' defenses look terrible. Let's just put it
Yep.
that way. They sucked.
Yep.
Um, yes, Baltimore did lose some guys. You know, they're different teams and stuff, and they're not the same. But they're like they should. They should, I understand it's the Bills, but they shouldn't be allowing 41 points, and neither should the Bills. The Bills secondary is horrible.
It's
Um,
awful.
you know,
Yeah.
they have decent D linemen, but up front or sorry, safety, you know, corner, it sucks. They made Zay Flowers look like he was a top 5 wide receiver.
Yeah.
Um, and then, you know, even Derrick Henry, obviously he's gonna run all over you. There's really no stopping Derrick Henry,
Yeah.
but he rushed for 169 yards, 2 touchdowns, but he still lost the game for them
Yeah. I'll be
with
honest
the
with you. I don't know if I blame. I don't know if I blame him. Obviously, it was an awful fumble, but uh,
I
dude,
think it's more so on the defense.
I think honestly, I think the real issue with this team, and I know he's a two-time MVP, but when the lights are brightest and you have to make a play, Lamar never makes the play with his arm. He either he
No,
either
no, no.
he either rushes or they hand the ball to Henry. It's one of the two.
Yeah.
And when the game matters, you need to make the throw. And Lamar never makes the throw. He just doesn't. I mean, it's incredible to me that people still think he's like a top 5 quarterback when he has so few passing attempts in his career.
Yeah,
He never throws the ball.
he's kinda like Jalen Milroe. He's a great athlete,
Yes, he's a great
but
athlete.
but he's not. I mean, he's a good quarterback. Don't get me wrong, MVP. He's a good quarterback, but he's not great. Um, and like you said, when the lights are brightest, his playoff record's horrible. It's 3-5. The
Yeah.
farthest they've got is the AFC Championship, where they got smoked by Kansas City. So, you know, it's just it's not he's good, but like, when the lights are brightest, when it matters most, he doesn't make that play with his arm, he just scrambles,
Yeah.
which it works, but teams pick up on it and they should be ready for it. I mean, they should know Lamar Jackson is gonna run.
Dude, this many
So,
years into his career, all the teams know.
yeah. Oh, yeah, 100%. And he rushed for 70 yards and, he had a touchdown. Um, but he had, his completion percentage was fine, this game, but just because the Bills defense isn't that good.
Yeah.
But and but they don't have bad receivers. They got Zay Flowers and even D Hop, DeAndre Hopkins,
Yep.
who came out of the grave to make that one-handed catch.
Oh my God, that was
Um,
a remarkable catch.
yeah, crazy catch. But he only had 2 receptions for 35 yards, and one of them was on that whatever 20-yard play. So
Yeah, I think a lot of people are focusing on Derrick Henry, and I get it, but that was the second to last drive. They still had the lead,
yeah,
Eric,
yeah, they
on their
did.
last drive, and Lamar didn't make the play. I can't look past that. I just can't. And I honestly don't know if the Ravens are ever going to overcome that. I don't know if Lamar's ever going to overcome that deficiency in his play, because it's a deficiency at this point, and I don't think you can dispute that. I don't think they're ever going to recover from that. I really don't, because that's a critical flaw. You need to be able to make the final play every single time. You need to be able to do it.
Yeah, especially when you have a 25 to 40 point lead
Yeah.
in with 5 minutes left in the game. You shouldn't lose. When people
Even
are
with fumbles.
when
Even
the
with
opposing fans are leaving the stadium, you shouldn't be losing the game.
Yep. Completely agree.
Um, and also even Lamar got let his emotions get the best of him on that D Hop catch.
Yep.
That one fan came out and shoved. He literally shoved DeAndre Hopkins and Lamar, which is
Yeah.
ridiculous. That should never happen.
And he got banned
Oh,
indefinitely,
he
which
did. He got banned.
yes, he did, which is the right thing to do
Oh, okay, good. That's good.
from every stadium, not just the
Okay, yeah,
Bills. No, every state. Yeah, he got permanently banned.
that's good.
But I just, yeah, that last drive when the Ravens had the lead, it was, Eric, it was hard to watch.
It
I,
won.
it was hard for me to look at Lamar Jackson and see a two-time MVP.
Yeah.
And it just, yeah, he's so overrated.
Oh,
He really is.
yeah.
I'm sorry, man. And I know that's crazy to say about a two-time MVP, but he never makes the play with his arm.
Yeah, and not only that, the play calling was bad too. They couldn't move the ball down the field. You know, well, they were moving the ball fine until the fourth quarter. The final 3 possessions, they gained 17 yards with just 1 first down.
Yeah.
And one of the plays that worked was a designed run for Lamar Jackson that went for 13 yards. Um, yes, he can run. We know that. But I don't think John Harbaugh should be relying on that because of the running back play that they have already with Derrick Henry. Don't put your quarterback up to get hit just because he can
Yeah.
run.
Yeah. Yeah.
And also that missed extra point, that also hurt them. It would have been 41 to
41.
41, probably would have went to OT. But Tyler Loop, the new kicker for the Baltimore Ravens, misses the kick, and now it's just a matter of it's just they lose by a point.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
but
I think they definitely miss prime Justin Tucker. Just like the Steelers get bailed out by Chris Boswell repeatedly, the Ravens got bailed out by Justin Tucker repeatedly. And now that they're not, last year he was awful.
yeah,
And then this year he's not there. I think that's going to be a real hurdle for the Ravens. This was a really hard loss for them. This was a brutal, brutal collapse. And
it was. And also Jair Alexander, their new cornerback coming over from the Packers. He's great. He looked terrible.
Yeah.
Um, he did not have a good debut. You know, he allowed that 32-yard gain to Joshua Palmer, which allowed them to get in the field goal range. And then I think it was the next play, he tackled Keon Coleman at like the 9-yard line. You just gotta let him score there. Like you have to let him score. Just
That
get the ball
tackle,
back.
that tackle was I burst out laughing, dude. I was like,
You,
you need to let him score. Like that's
yeah,
football
because
101.
because Keon Coleman, he's a rookie. He doesn't know he was gunning for the end zone.
He was.
Um, it was horrible, and which also another old dude that really played good was Matt Prater. I didn't even know
Yep.
that dude was still in the league. Matt Prater for the Bills kicker wins that game for them. He looked great. 3 for 3 for field goals.
Yeah. I
Longest
was
of
happy
43, which was the game-winning kick.
I was happy that he got hoisted by the team at the end. That made me
Me,
feel
yeah, me too. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah.
um yeah, I mean, look, it's gonna take us a couple more weeks to get a full feel of these teams. Next week the Ravens play the Browns and the Bills play the Jets. Those are gonna be two blowouts. So, we're not gonna be able to really tell what the Ravens are gonna be for a couple weeks, but this was such a brutal loss, Eric, that I really think that it might cast the tone over the whole season. It
Yeah.
really might. This was hard. This was really, really hard. I mean, I don't feel that bad. I'm a Steelers fan, so I don't care. But
Yeah.
yeah, if I'm a Ravens fan, I'm nervous.
Uh-huh.
I'm
Yeah.
nervous. But yeah,
Especially
great.
like on the defensive side of the ball.
Yeah,
Like both of these teams played great offensively. It was just really all defense.
yeah, yeah. But I mean, dude, that's the thing. The Bills have always been mediocre on defense.
Right,
They're
exactly.
they're a less flawed version of the Bengals. The Ravens are supposed to have a very good defense. The Ravens are supposed to keep the Bills to 28 points, and
Exactly. Yeah.
that's really problematic. But
Yeah.
yeah, well, I'll be curious to see if the defense can for the Baltimore can recover and if Lamar can make the play with his arm. We've been looking for it for years. Can he finally get over that hump this season? I doubt it, but I'm open to having my mind changed on that.
Yeah, and the Ravens got the Browns next week. They should be able to kind of regroup on
Yeah,
defense. The Browns didn't look I mean, they didn't look terrible,
no,
but
but they don't.
um yeah,
Yeah,
they're
they'll
going
win.
to win that game.
Yeah, the Ravens will win. But
But yeah, that's really all I got for
yeah,
this.
game of the week, man. That was that
100%.
this
Yeah,
game
great game.
that game was so much fun to watch. It was like the best playoff
Yeah.
games. It was like the Bills what year was that? 21 when the Chiefs scored with 19 seconds. I think that was 21. It was like a game of that caliber. Like you're just not going to forget it for a while and it was a lot of fun to watch.
Yeah.
Uh okay. So that's it for that game. Last game is Vikings versus Bears. Eric, what do you have on that one?
Yeah, so the Vikings win it 27-24 in the Bears Stadium. Ben Johnson's debut on defense.
Uh-huh.
Um and he I don't know. I mean, he looked fine, I guess, but
It looked so okay,
yeah,
which is honestly like the worst case scenario. Like
well,
if it was really
he
bad, then we could have something to discuss. But Ben Johnson just looked whatever. Like it wasn't a horrible debut. It wasn't an amazing debut. It was just
yeah, like, I think it's 'cause it would be bad. Um, it was okay, well, I'm gonna say this, it was a terrible 4th quarter, um,
It was.
for the
That's
Bears
fair.
on defense.
Yeah.
But the rest of the game, and that's what makes it, like, just because, they held them to 6 points until the 4th and then 21, and lose the game in another comeback. But it
Yeah.
was like it was just okay.
Yeah.
Um,
It was fine.
and it was fine. You know, and yeah, I don't know. Yeah.
We're at a loss for words because this Bears team is just so bizarre. I'm looking at their numbers. Caleb Williams. This is like the most run of the mill QBR line you'll ever see. A 63.8 QBR, 210 passing yards, a TD, and 21 completions out of 35 attempts. Like that's like a stone cold average NFL quarterback line, right? Like,
Yes,
it's just
um,
DJ Moore was okay. Like, this team is fine. They're fine. They're I think a lot of people were expecting Ben Johnson after he did such an amazing job with Detroit last year. I think a lot of people were expecting this team to take the next step, and they took like half a step, if that makes sense. I don't know if I'm phrasing that well, but I mean, I guess it was a marginal improvement from where they were. I don't know.
yeah,
It, it
yeah,
just,
and,
yeah, I don't know.
like, with Caleb Williams, he looked good for, for a little bit, and then he went right back to his old self,
Yep.
throwing balls too high for, like, Roma Dunze and Cole Kmet, and that's when
Yep.
they were down 10 at that point.
Yeah.
Um, I don't really I've never really liked Caleb Williams. I always think he's always trying to, like, do too much, like, he's trying to add, like, unnecessary velocity to his
Yeah.
throws, which, I mean, it's just like it's he just tries to do too much. He tried to be too cute with it and just throw the ball, man. Like, you're not good enough that you're gonna go out and make a crazy play on the run. You just stay in the pocket. He panics.
Yep.
Um, I've never honestly really liked him. I always thought he was overrated.
I, I may
I
be
always
reading
think
too
both of
much.
these
Oh,
quarterbacks.
go ahead. Go ahead. Sorry. Sorry.
No, you're good. Yeah, that's all I got. Just go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say maybe I'm reading too much into it. You can let me know what you think. I feel like Caleb Williams still has that USC mindset where it's like Southern Cal, sun's shining, I'm the star of the town, LA, great TV market, a lot of scouts, a lot of people have their eyes on me. I'm gonna make the crazy trick play. And
Yeah,
I feel
that's
like that
yeah.
mentality just does not work in the NFL, man. You gotta grow up. You've got to
Right,
grow.
yeah, and, like, that's you see that a lot, like, guys just trying to do too much because of what they were in college. Um, you know, you can't yeah, okay, it works for in some aspects, like, the Lions run trick plays very well, but Caleb Williams just tries and does it like, they're not calling trick plays, he just tries and runs them on his own, and he tries to make these throws that he can't make.
Yeah.
Yes, he's a good quarterback, but I don't think he gets too much hype for not even what he was, because I
Yeah.
didn't think he was that great at
Yeah.
USC,
Yeah.
but he's just he's not even he's average at best.
I agree with that.
Um,
I mean, I think for a
he
number one
can
overall pick, yikes.
yeah, he and even JJ McCarthy, I hated him obviously at Michigan because I'm an Ohio State fan.
Me
But
too.
I didn't even think I didn't even think he was that good. I thought he was a handoff merchant to Blake Corum. I thought he sucked, and I don't even like him now. He's not even that good. Yeah,
No.
and yeah, he has Justin Jefferson. Justin Jefferson did not play good. He had 44 yards and a touchdown.
Uh,
Um, LSU receivers struggled this week, even Jamar Chase.
yep.
So, but
Yeah. Yeah.
back to Caleb Williams. The team isn't bad as a whole, like DeAndre Swift, and even like DJ Moore, Roma Dunze. These guys are good, in Colston Loveland. These guys are good.
Yeah.
Um, but Caleb Williams isn't. So
Yeah. I
they're
just,
just they're just an average team.
yeah, I would agree with that. I think they're going to finish. Do I think they're going to finish like right at 500? They are going to be a eminently league average organization under Caleb Williams. I do not see, I agree with you. I don't think he's going to take the next step.
No.
I think he's going to mature. I think he's gonna grow up a little bit, but I just don't think he has the raw talent to really, really thrive in this league. I just don't see it.
Yeah, and I mean, look, it's none of like these teams. They're not that good.
No.
Um, and but I will say Jordan Mason, he looked good. He was on the 49ers last year, and now he's on the Vikings. He looked good, and
He
I
did.
like Jordan Mason. He runs great. Just full steam ahead, and I think he's a good kind of 1-2 punch with Aaron Jones.
Yeah.
Because Aaron Jones, let's be honest, he's getting up there in age, but he's still good. Yeah, he had 8 carries for 23 yards, but he's more of a receiving back in this stage of his career, I
Yeah.
think.
Aaron Jones, I mean, look, he's gonna kind of always be known for that Packers game, right? Against the Cowboys. That's gonna be the game of his life. He's never gonna get that good again. I think as a second option, he's good. I agree with you. I think as a second option, he's gonna be fine. Um, I I agree with you. I thought JJ McCarthy in this game was fine.
Yeah.
He was whatever. I don't read too much into the pick six, to be honest with you. Every quarterback will throw a pick six. I don't
Yep.
care that it was his first interception. But you know, he got the touchdowns when it mattered, right in the fourth quarter, and he did lead the team. I think the injury was the best thing to happen to him, dude. I think if they started him last year over Darnold, he would have been a disaster. I think sitting behind Darnold for a year really helped him, and I helped him learn Kevin O'Connell's offense, and I do think he will improve. I do think he'll get better. But I think I was expecting a little more from him in week one, especially against the Bears or team that last year, rather the last few years, has really been a mess. So I think we were expecting a little more from him, but I do believe he'll get better. And I say that as someone who, like you, hated him in college. Absolutely hated him, both as because of the team he was on and because I agree with you. I just thought he was a Blake Corum handoff guy, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. Look, these both these teams, like this was, like you look at the score and like, oh wow, this was a great game. They scored 21 points. It was like I was honestly bored watching it.
I was bored
Um,
too, man. Even the
both these
comeback
teams,
was
yeah,
boring.
it
Yeah.
was because it wasn't like that. It was just the Bears beating themselves.
Yeah.
They had 127 penalty yards.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like,
I just, yeah.
and like that's terrible. Um, I think at one point they had like -1 yard, and it was like through for the entire half. It was like in the fourth quarter the Bears did. Like
Jeez.
it was like how you're not going to win a game like that.
No.
Um, and yes, it does reflect on Ben Johnson that he allowed 21 points, but the Bears offense didn't really give the defense. They didn't set them up good at all.
No.
You know, they were just it was just three and out. You know, offside or false start, backing them up. It was just like a
Yeah.
whirlwind of issues. You know, discipline wise, offensive wise, and even also defense. But like you look at this and see JJ McCarthy, you know, putting up and the Vikings in general, just putting up 20 points in the fourth quarter. You're like, wow, this guy's good. He's not.
He's
He's not
not.
that
I
good.
agree with you. Yeah. It was just a bad Bears team. I agree
Yeah,
completely.
The Bears beat themselves.
Yeah. I think everyone, is it just me or do we just hype up a lot of these coordinators turned coaches? Right? Like, I feel
No,
like Ben
I
Johnson.
didn't think so. Like, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I just
Like
feel
Ben
Ben
Johnson, he's
Johnson. They
coming.
hype up Ben Johnson to be this, to be the the second coming of I mean a million different coaches. You can give me a couple of them. Dan Campbell, obviously being the main one from Detroit, right? But I think a lot of people just assumed that he would transition flawlessly to a head coach position, and he didn't have a strong control over the offense, and the defense was average. Like,
Yeah. I mean, look, you can bring in whatever coach you want. It's
yeah,
still the Bears.
yeah,
Like Matt Eberflus, he was a horrible head coach, and then they bring in Thomas Brown last year too. He wasn't good either. He went 1-4. So Ben Johnson, I think he'll be better than like Matt Eberflus.
yeah. Eberflus was a
You know,
hack. Eberflus,
yeah,
his last game and how he handled that fourth quarter. If you remember, they couldn't get a playoff and they had like 30 seconds.
yeah, I
Um,
remember that. Yeah,
I can't remember who they played, but I was watching it. It was like a family event, and I was watching it with my sister's boyfriend, and we were literally both laughing like little girls because they couldn't get a playoff and they had like 30 seconds. So Eberflus is an idiot. Ben Johnson will be better than Matt Eberflus. Matt
I think
Eberflus should have never had that.
I think you and me can be better than Matt Eberflus.
I agree. I agree with that statement too. But I do think Ben Johnson will be better. But yeah, I am not seeing this whiz that I was told he would be. Again, it's
No,
one game, but it's the Vikings who are good, not great, right?
yeah, he look, but he had some. I mean, he had some issues. You know, like Ben Johnson, he had some mishaps.
Yeah.
you know, it was just like it wasn't good execution,
Yeah.
but it also wasn't great play calling either.
Yeah, his calls on zone defense in the fourth quarter. I mean, I think anyone who has a common knowledge of the game of football would be like, "Why are you doing that?" And again, they were making JJ McCarthy look like a much better quarterback than he was. So
Yeah.
I don't know. Looking at their schedule, the Bears have the Lions, the Cowboys, the Raiders the next 3 weeks. The Lions did not look very good this week, but I got to tell you, dude, they're going to lose to the Lions. The Cowboys looked pretty good, so I think the Cowboys that's a loss. And then the Raiders, jury's still out on Pete Carroll. I'm not, I know they won, but I'm not going to buy that team until I see them against a better opponent. But the Raiders, I mean, who knows? I mean, it's really bad for Chicago. I think Ben Johnson's got his work cut out for him, and I think if he goes in next week knowing Dan Campbell's offense, obviously and they get killed or something like that, I think alarms should start to be set off. But right now, I
Yeah,
think we can just choke it up to inexperience and a really poor fourth quarter.
but honestly, like, you saw him being aggressive, like, and that's how the Lions run their offense. Dan Campbell runs his offense, aggressiveness. But
Yep.
he was Ben Johnson in this game, he was being unnecessarily aggressive, like, with the, like, 9 minutes left in the second quarter, I think it was.
Yeah.
It was, like, 4th down
Yeah.
when they coulda just kicked the field goal, and eventually that would ended up, making the score 27-27, but they decided to go for it. Like, and yeah, I love the
Yeah.
aggressiveness, but there's a time and a place. I understand it's the second quarter, you don't know the game's gonna end, but I mean, that could, and it obviously did hurt them because they didn't get it.
Yeah.
But, could Caleb Williams sucks and he, incomplete pass,
Yeah.
um,
There's an old
but yeah,
quote.
like, that's just the thing, like, just trying to do too much, just take your points, man.
Yeah.
Like, and I think they're really gonna try and get creative against the Lions, and it's just not gonna work out for
No.
them because
There's an
Dan
old
Campbell was
quote.
a great head coach.
There's an old quote from Vince Lombardi, probably arguably the greatest coach in the history of professional sports, let alone football, right? And the only game Vince ever lost in the postseason was because he lost by a field goal and he went for it on fourth down in the red zone. And Vince Lombardi had a famous interview after the game where he just was basically hating on himself, and he looked like in a full state of depression because he was just like, I went against my instincts and I didn't take the points. And he said the most important thing you always should do is take the points. Take
Right.
the points. I gotta say, this might be a hot take. I'm actually in favor of the Dan Campbells of the world being so aggressive. But when aggression loses you points, it's bad. You need to be aggressive in the right spots. Dan
Yes.
Campbell goes for it way too often in the opposing team's uh, uh, side of the field, and it cost him a playoff game a couple years ago because he wasn't kicking field goals when he should have.
Right.
And it's the same thing with I think Ben Johnson, dude, got it right from Dan Campbell. I think
Oh, yeah.
Ben
100%.
Johnson was like, "Oh man, look how good the Lions are. Dan Campbell's aggressive. I'll do the same."
Exactly.
And it didn't work out
But the
because,
Lions are also
well,
a way
Caleb
better
Williams
team than the
isn't Jared
Bears.
Goff. But even if Caleb Williams wasn't Jared Goff, or rather was Jared Goff in terms of quality, it still would have bit them in the butt. So,
Exactly, yeah. Um,
yeah, it didn't work out.
yeah, I mean, same kinda coaching styles, we saw glimpses of Dan Campbell in, Ben Johnson's play calling, but Dan Campbell, he has way more experience, and I understand he makes stupid decisions, and, like, people might see that not even, like, stupid decisions, but, like, people might see him going for, like, these plays and, like, "Oh my god, he's so aggressive," like, he's, you know, so entertaining to watch, and this is a great team, but like you said, he cost his team some games,
Yeah,
and that's what honestly, I think happened here, and I don't, and the play calling in the 4th quarter just wasn't good, even honestly the whole second half.
yeah, yeah, completely agree. Uh, but yeah, no, I think it'll be interesting. Obviously, we're gonna have to keep an eye on the Bears the entire season because I think the story of Ben Johnson as a head coach is going to be really fascinating. But yeah, this first game was such a mixed bag that it's hard to not jump to conclusions and assume that it's just the Bears being the Bears, you know?
Yeah, right. Exactly. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. That's all I have on this game. What about you?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Okay, guys. So that was a 7 game behemoth of catching the facts. Eric, I think this is our longest episode ever. Uh,
It might
uh,
be.
yeah, we really covered a lot. It was a lot of fun, guys. Thank you so much for listening to the show. It was a blast. Looking at next week's college football schedule. I don't have the NFL schedule in front of me. It's a lot of garbage games again. Georgia at Tennessee is going to be pretty damn good. That's 3:30 on Saturday. That's going to be a fun game. Pitt, West Virginia. We should probably keep an eye on that, right? I mean,
I think we should talk about that. That's a big rivalry.
yeah, especially in this area. So we'll be nice to the Pitt fans. We'll throw them a bone, right? We got to be generous. We got to be nice. So we'll do Pitt, West Virginia. Uh, USF is playing Miami, which I
Yeah.
gotta tell you is now a relatively interesting game. So that might be something. But next week our teams, dude. Penn State plays Villanova and Ohio State plays Ohio. I mean, again, it's like what I want to watch these teams because I love them, but you guys aren't giving me reasons to watch.
Hey man, Ohio State has given me plenty of reasons to watch. Like last season, this season,
Sure.
I'm fine with them playing Ohio.
Yeah, I get it.
Texas A&M also plays Notre Dame. That's another
That'll be a
good
good
game.
game. That'll be a good
So
game.
yeah, we got some options next week. But yeah, it'll be fun either way. So
Yeah, so we'll have a lot. Obviously, NFL is a little harder to predict which games are going to be really really good because
yep,
I think a
they're
lot of the
all
teams are really up in the air, like the Raiders. We just mentioned them, so we'll see what happens next week. We don't know what games we'll talk about, but whatever we do, we will make sure to bring our charm and charisma to whatever discussion we have. Right, Eric?
yeah, 100%.
Yeah, we will make your week with our discussions. But yeah, that is it for episode 2 of Catching the Facts here on the Catching the Facts official podcast network. We look forward to seeing you next week. Again, every week the show drops Wednesdays at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, high noon. So next week you can expect the episode right at that time on both YouTube and Spotify. So we'll see you then next week. Until then, I'm your host, Dan Sisk,
And I'm Eric Schroeder.
and we'll see you next week.